Now, a dark chocolate really is not meant to chew. That's because it will release the flavor more slowly. You just let it melt, and then you'll be able to pick up more of the notes. We're going to try and recognize the initial, the middle, and the finish notes, just like you would with a wine. And then the last thing that a chocolatier will usually rate a chocolate, especially if they want to make it into a recipe, is the texture or mouthfeel. There's some new chocolates on the market that are made with a grainier texture, and they taste super sweet. And that's because the larger the particle size, the smaller the surface area, the less the cocoa flavor pops in your mouth. Okay? So over the years, chocolatiers have determined that between 20 and 30 microns is the level at which refining a cocoa particle to that stage gives you the most flavor in your mouth. Okay? So if you can have that chocolate in your mouth and smooth it around with your tongue and you don't feel a particle size is below 30 microns. If you do feel something grainier, then it's above 30 microns. And it's going to taste much sweeter because large sugar crystals like salt our tongues are more sensitive to that. And when you have big particles of cocoa, we're less sensitive to that. So the less refined a chocolate is, the sweeter it's going to taste. Okay? Now the other reason why chocolatiers really prefer to have that smaller particle size is because it gives you a very silky mouthfeel or texture. The other thing that gives you that silky mouthfeel or texture is the recipe. Okay? So we worked with the Farmer Cooperative, had a Swiss technician that gave them advice on how to make their own chocolate bars. And he admitted that 80% of the flavor of any dark chocolate is the cocoa bean. It's really determined on the farm. It's the varietal, it's the planting that they're using, the distance between the trees, it's the way they're taking care of those trees, and most of all, it's the fermentation and the post-process that they're doing after the harvest. Okay, so that's a lot of what she's explaining right here. Right? Why is that screening so important? Is because you have beans that are all homogeneous. If you have a really big bean and you roast it with a tiny bean, one is raw and the other is burnt. Okay? Why are they not using any type of metal? It's because iron oxide will change the pH level and it will interrupt the fermentation process. Why are they using laurel wood? Because most tropical hardwoods have mild toxins in them, and that will also give you odd flavors in the cocoa bean. Okay? So a lot of the things that she's doing for them is very standard, but very few farmer cooperatives in the world reach the level of cocoa bean quality that they do. Okay? They still export part of their beans to the leading Swiss chocolate maker, Southland. They also sell part of their harvest to Valrhona, which is the top French culinary chocolate. And when they export their beans, they can save the best for their own chocolate bars, right? But during the export process, they received awards. One, because it was the best container from Ecuador. And then after that, because it was the best container received in the world from the Swiss buyers that received their shipment. It gives you an idea of just how hard they're working and why they have such great quality. Okay? So for those first 70% bars, I'm going to tell you what the brand, and people kind of finished them. Yeah? Did they forget? Did you forget? Sorry.
Are crackers the palate closers?
Sure, and I apologize, we don't have water for everybody. Yeah, but this one's for one. Are people kind of done with the first